All right, hi, welcome to Lecture 8 or Lecture 8 Part B. Really, this is immune systems, and I call it cellular immunity because most of what you're going to be learning is what some cells are doing, and you're really going to be focusing on the cells. You'll see when we get to adaptive immunity what I am talking about there. So, this is a unique thing here because the immune system is something that is taught in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. And one thing that students usually don't get from whatever lecture they're watching on the immune system is they don't get the big picture of how the adaptive immune system works or what causes it to fail or what it's supposed to do. And so that is what this tries to give you. It's like a big picture view of adaptive immunity and innate immunity, the difference between them. But to get that big picture, we need to understand the workings of the whole thing. That said, the immune system is insanely complex. Any kind of cell you can name has 20 different versions, and we've only discovered 10 of them. And every cell releases 20 different signaling molecules, and it's hard to tell which cell is which, and we don't know what all the signaling molecules do. So that's not really what we're going to look at here. We are going to look at the very fundamental actions of the cells and the fundamental decision making they have to do. And once you've got this all put together in your head, you'll be able to go and read anything about the immune system and follow it and get more out of it. So let's get into it. Our goals here are to review the immune system and the parts you've already seen. We're going to skip the anti-helminth parts, so we won't talk about IgE, we won't talk about basophils or eosinophils, but everything else. And especially the adaptive immune system so that you can learn more about it later in your life and you can appreciate it for what it is. Because it's a really amazing system that you should really think of as every bit as amazing as your kidneys or your brain. So this is not important, but this is what I was saying. This is why I'm teaching you this instead of what you learn in a different class. And here is why do we have immune systems? Well, basically, there are two real reasons. One is that mesophilic chemoorganoheterotrophs can eat us. They would love to eat our cells and tissues. And that ranges from everything from bacteria to fungi to protists to our own cancerous cells that have lost the ability to work as part of a team. They can become cannibalistic. Also, viruses. We are surrounded by virions. There are 10 virions for every cell on Earth. And there are 10 virions for all of your cells. Yeah, so lots of viruses want to turn your cells into virion factories. So we need to prevent that. And so our innate immune systems protect us from those things the vast majority of the time. Your innate immune system can prevent cancers from forming. Your innate immune system can prevent most viruses from working, and most bacteria, and most fungi and protists from working. It can protect you almost from everything. The things it can't protect you from are the pathogens that have really evolved to attack us. All the pathogens you've ever heard of can evade the innate immune response. Let me say that again. Every pathogen you've ever heard of, every disease, every infectious disease that you've ever heard of is caused by some microorganism that has the ability to evade the innate immune system completely. So that's what the adaptive immune system is for. It's for everything else that is meant to attack us. And the adaptive immune system is the most amazing thing. It works. If you've ever heard of a human living 100 years, understand that if they didn't have an adaptive immune system, they wouldn't have lived 1 year. So the innate immune system is what lets us live for more than a few days. The adaptive immune system is what lets us live for more than a few years. Okay, so we're going to look at a lot of different cells, and there are a lot of things you could learn about different cells in the immune systems. They're each going to sense something. They have to learn about their environment and figure out what to do, and they each respond in some way. So that's what to start with. It's like, what can they tell about their environment and what can they do about it? And how does that fit into the function of the overall immune system? Then also, when we get to adaptive immunity, do the cells go through a developmental process, and is that an essential part of how they work? Do they have to go through education or activation, and what does that look like? Does it have to talk to other cells in order to do its job? And if so, which ones and how? And what receptors are on its surface? We're going to look at a small number of receptors, but you need to know what they are. So these are just some pictures of immune cells. That's a lymphocyte. We're going to look at a lot of lymphocytes. That's a neutrophil. I don't remember what kind this is, and I don't care. And you might have learned about the immune system. You might have seen lineages of cells where you can have myeloid or lymphoid precursors. This doesn't tell you anything about the immune system. This doesn't. Neither does this. These are just pictures of cells, and they don't tell you how they work or what they do or how they do what they do or how they decide to do what they have to do. So forget about pictures like this. What you're going to have to do when you learn lots of different types of cells is classify them. Are they leukocytes or lymphocytes or both? Remember, leukocytes are white blood cells. Lymphocytes are lymphocytes. They're of the lymphoid precursors. They're T cells and B cells. They look like that. Do they present antigens? That's going to be a big thing, because antigen presentation is going to be how T cells learn about the world. They have to be shown by an antigen-presenting cell, whatever they're going to see. And T cells are central to the immune response. And then, are the cells part of the innate system or the adaptive system? All of these are ways we can classify any cell. So understand, there are multiple overlapping methods of classification you might have to think about. So it's useful to think about whether they are these things, whether they're phagocytic cells, all these different ways we can describe cells to keep the cells straight. That's what you're going to have to do. So we also want to compare innate and adaptive immunity. I've done that a little bit, but here are some things we can think about. First, the innate immune system is ancient. Lots of animals and plants have innate immune systems, but the adaptive immune system is relatively recent. Only vertebrates have an adaptive immune system. The innate immune system fundamentally has the ability to detect invading cells. It has receptors that identify bacteria or viruses, and it knows what those things are, and it knows to attack them. The adaptive immune system doesn't. So the innate and adaptive systems differ in how they identify self versus non-self. Self means just the concept of like our own cells. We don't want our immune system to attack our own cells if they're healthy. We want our immune system to only attack invaders or only attack abnormal cells. So we want our immune system to be able to identify what is self and not attack that, and identify non-self and attack that. So the innate system has receptors that directly identify bacteria, fungi, protists, viruses, and some types of abnormal host cells. It has receptors that can see these things, and we all share those receptors. They're coded in our DNA. That's how the innate immune system tells self from not self. It knows what not self looks like. Adaptive system is kind of the opposite. It can't even see self. It can't even identify parts of the body. It can only respond to things that aren't part of the body. So it is blind to the idea of self. And you can see the innate versus adaptive. Like the adaptive immune system adapts over time, so it's not ready to go in a baby, whereas the innate immune system is. The cells are ready to go, they can start doing their jobs immediately. The adaptive immune system gets better and better and better the older we are. Innate immune system is instantaneous. Your skin is part of the innate immune system, and it blocks bacteria from getting into you. The adaptive immune system takes on the order of 5 days to get a powerful immune response going. So it's very, very different in terms of timing. And again, the innate immune system fights off everything except pathogens, and the adaptive immune system defeats pathogens. Also, anything random. The adaptive immune system can defeat anything random, such as specific bacterial toxins or cancerous cells. The adaptive immune system is ready for all of that. The last classification I'd give you is humoral immunity versus cell-mediated. You'll see these terms a lot after you take this class. Humoral just means things that are dissolved in the blood, like the complement system or antibodies. And cell-mediated is going to be cytotoxic T cells and macrophages. So humoral immunity attacks whatever's in the blood or the lymph, and then cell-mediated immunity generally is going to attack stealthy pathogens or some of our own cells that have been infected. And that's enough of the introduction to the immune system. That's some of the big ideas you need to have. Next, we will get into the innate immune system and look at important parts of that. Then we will dive headfirst into the adaptive immune system. I'll see you at the next video.